power to the people.
Y'all give it up for our sister. All power to the people. You know what? I'm so glad that all of these, magnificent speakers and all this showed up today, because I knew I ain't had the energy for it. But I want to be able to make sure that someone put this on their calendar. On August 14th, this will be an important city council meeting that we need everybody to be at and a part. This council meeting is where they will vote on amendments that will go to the November ballot. One of the amendments I just told y'all about, which basically this petition was put out in a very misleading way. Many people across the city of Dallas signed this petition thinking that they were banning chokeholds. And what this petitioner did is, at the bottom of that petition, no one noticed, in the language of that petition, no one noticed that they were asking for this monstrosity behind us, for 1,000 officers to be added to them. Now, for black people and brown people, if you see somebody say you want to ban chokeholds, you're going to sign that, right? And so they were able to garner the petition over 50,000 signatures because they told people they were banning chokeholds. Well, nobody never asked the Next Generation Action Network. I just want to be able to newsflash. We banned chokeholds in 2016 in Dallas Police Department. It's in the general orders. I ain't asked nobody to do that, you know what I mean? And this is how our movement can be manipulated. So we need everybody out there on August 14th. Also, there's another amendment that was authored by the Next Generation Action Network to have the Office of Police Oversight report directly to the City Council instead of directly to the City Manager. Why is it important? It's not about who is the current occupant of the City Manager's office. You cannot have the same person who is over the police department to be the same person to govern the accountability structure. That's as simple as that, all right? All right? So, that's 9 a.m., Dallas City Hall Chambers, August the 14th. So you can take off, whatever you need to do. I need to see everybody out there. We need our voices. And then, since Eric Johnson, I ain't gonna call him what he is, but since Eric Johnson wants to come and attack our movement on the Grand Wizard Day at the RNC, basically Eric Johnson said that it was Black Lives Matter protesting at his front lawn is the reason why he became a Republican. And all I would say, my biggest response is that I'm so glad that our movement can get you from out of the closet. He's just only shown his true colors. He said that we were protesting him because we asked him to defund the police. No, let me make this very clear. We actually protested him because he created a movement called Defund the Bureaucracy. I think many people remember that when he put this thing out where he wanted to take 10 to 15% of the salaries of all of the directors and assistant directors of all of the departments that do front-facing services to our community. That's the reason why we actually protested him. Eric Johnson has never been able to count since he been on the council, and when you're one vote of 15, you got to be able to count to 8. And Eric Johnson has never been able to accomplish one damn amendment. So we'll never go to actually lobby Eric Johnson and say, hey, we want this to get passed, because Eric Johnson has never ever rise to the occasion of understanding what a weak mayor system really is. So at the end of the day, maybe Donald Trump can help him with that, since he has truly pledged his allegiance to the Grand Wizard of America. And so I just want y'all to know, all skin folk and kinfolk, and he has truly beyond lost his way, all right? He ain't just lost his way, he's beyond lost his way. He's lost his whole identity. So at the end of the day, we'll be also asking the city council to change the terms from 2 to 3 year terms for them. And what will happen if they change that from 2 to 3 years, it would trigger a mayoral election, and that will be our greatest way to get Eric Johnson the hell out of the city of Dallas, all right? So at the end of the day, I need everybody to understand that knowledge. If we fail to do this, we will have to deal with Eric Johnson since 2027. And a lot of people are saying that, he's going to go with the Trump administration. Well, they said he was going with the Abbott administration, and that never happened. So we can't bank on that. We need the council to rise up. But it's not just that. I think that it's an efficient area to have a person on a 3-year term. When you have city council members that can only go there for a year and then the next year they're running, that continues to allow them to be influenced by the bureaucracy. And when organizers and organizations do a lot of work with being able to educate our elected officials and work with them, but before we could even get what we have worked in the first year, they are back to elections. And I don't have to preach to you guys why it's important for us to be able to make sure that the system works for organizers, not corporate America, not billionaires, not special interest groups that flood more than hundreds of thousands of dollars in our city council race, right? At the end of the day, y'all gotta remember, more money is flooded into the city of Dallas coffers from 15 members than probably 50 cities combined in the state of Texas, all right? Just all of the money that is poured into the politics to be able to keep people and keep their votes there. So what we say is to Harlan Crow and all of the rest of them, our city hall is not up to buy. You can do whatever you're doing with the Supreme Court, but not our city hall, all right? And we gonna come for you with that Supreme Court later on. I want y'all to help me welcome my pastor. I don't know what's going on, but he evidently has this Benjamin Button syndrome going on, and it's getting younger by the day. So I thought my outfit was kind of fresh, so he just keeps on bringing the bar up for me, and so one day I'm gonna learn how to dress like him. So y'all give a good hand for my pastor, Dr. Freddie D. Haynes III.
Give it up for brother who's always on the case. And no matter what happens, we know we can count on Dominique Alexander and Next Generation Action Network to make sure we hold this city's feet to the fire. I want to thank you, man, because you were doing it. I want to thank Next Generation Action Network, because y'all always speak truth to power and keep it 100. So thank you very much for your leadership. KRS-One said years ago, yeah, Mr. Officer from Overseer, you need a little clarity, check the similarity. That's in the song Sound of the Police, in which KRS-One is indicting not one officer, but a system that was born in the sin of destroying black bodies. Policing was never intended to serve and protect black bodies. And so when KRS-One compares the officer to the overseer, KRS-One is saying, you need some clarity, check the similarity. What are we doing here? We are standing on a street named for Botham Jean. Botham Jean lynched. Why? Because officers checked the similarity. If you need some clarity, it's a system that we're dealing with. Google the name William Donegan. William Donegan was lynched in the Springfield, Illinois race riots of 1908. William Donegan is an ancestor to our beloved Sonia Massey. Think about it. Sonia Massey got lynched in the same city as her ancestor got lynched over 100 years ago. Officer from overseer, check you need some clarity, check the similarity. The same thing is going on, not because of individuals, but because of a policing institution that was never designed to respect and protect black bodies. And so it's not enough. Yeah, we gonna say her name. But it's not enough just to say her name. It's to recognize that there is a system that does not respect, let alone recognize the humanity of black people. And as a consequence, everything we said today about a black woman in her kitchen, that system does not recognize. That system does not respect because they don't see our humanity. And so until we dismantle the system, question becomes, what we gonna do here? What are we doing here? We're gonna come back again in a few years because the system has not been changed. That's why Black Lives Matter says now it's not enough to simply what? Reform a sick system. It's time to dismantle that system and watch this. Imagine public safety.
That's right.
And until we have public safety, we're gonna keep on coming back here. And I'm sick of coming back here. I'm sick of it. I'm feeling finally Fannie Lou Hamer. Sick and tired of being sick and tired. For the same thing, because there's something sick about a system that doesn't respect us. And so what I think we need to do is take what our sister Sonia said to another level. She rebuked an individual. I've come here to say it's time to rebuke an abusive policing system. The whole damn system is guilty as hell. It's time for us to rebuke white supremacy in a country that was born in the sin of a hostile takeover and shaped in the iniquity of anti-black white supremacy. It's time to rebuke, watch this, any kind of hatred that would allow us to fund not just a war in Gaza. That ain't no war. That is a damn genocide that is taking place. And you can't tell me that a country, watch this, that will support someone saying or Israel has a right to defend themselves. How you defending yourself in killing babies, killing women, killing innocent civilians? But a country that will stand by that kind of genocide is a country that needs to be rebuked in the name of Jesus. So I rebuke you, United States of America, until you become a nation of liberty and justice for all. I rebuke you, United States of America, until you transform policing into public safety. And I rebuke you for sending a man who had been fired by other police departments, a man who had a record of DUI twice. Twice he had been guilty of DUI, and yet he still was a police officer. I rebuke that sick kind of system. And so y'all, let's do that in the name of Jesus. Rebuke systems. And when we rebuke systems, watch this, we're going to say, stop playing in our face. Because they're playing in our face. Don't call her if you're not going to pass the George Floyd in Policing Act. Don't call the family if you're not going to do anything to correct the system. Because if y'all play in our face, I got a word for you. You're going to mess around and find out.
And they call me the troublemaker. I got nothing on that dude, for real. Definitely, y'all give a hand for Dr. Haynes. So y'all, I'm so glad that we were able to come out here today, no matter the size, the heat, or whatever. I'm just glad that we were able to come together in this moment and not look at oppression individually, but coming together in a unified way to feed off of each other's energy. You know, sometimes our brothers and sisters think that social media is the new movement of America, and I don't understand, but it doesn't do anything. The white supremacists know that if it go viral for 2-3 days, they'll get over it and it'll be to the next thing. So I always say to everybody, your social justice consciousness can not only be displayed on social media, it has to be displayed in your actions, okay? All right, yeah, just please. Every time y'all get somebody that try to come for y'all reply that same sentence. Say that social justice is activism, action. It don't take, not clicking this ain't gonna do nothing. Yeah, because everybody are some warriors behind the keyboard. But when they come to it, you know, to really actually doing something, you know, there are a few that actually rise to that occasion. So I'm so glad that everybody, the Rainbow of Justice, all different colors, creed, sexual orientation, whatever it may be, has came together today in the area of love, injustice, and revolutionary. I'm going to bring up a brother. I'm so proud of him in what he has accomplished. The young life, I'll call him the next generation pastoral leadership for just here in Dallas, y'all. I'm so grateful to him and his platform. He continues to speak truth to power and understanding the fundamental of Jesus and yet justice, and not Jesus and prosperity and Jesus and the other stuff, but Jesus and justice is the ultimate way of Christ-like walk and a Christ-like life, all right? So I'm going to bring up my brother, the pastor of Antioch Church, Pastor Chris Wesley.
It was in Psalm 6, David gave the condition of his soul. David said, my soul is distressed and in terror. The condition of his soul caused him to ask the question to the Lord, how long? I don't know, and most theologians don't know the situation that created David's condition. But as somebody who feels a distress of the soul today, as somebody who feels a terror of the soul, I can tell you that that condition is created by having to watch another video of another woman gunned down in her home. Another black woman killed the same way as Breonna Taylor. Another black woman murdered in her own home. My soul is distressed. Our collective souls are in terror. Another situation that creates a condition for the soul. I'm distressed. Today we gather to mourn because our souls are distressed. We have all these situations after situations to roll too long to call that's made our souls feel terror and distress. And in the aftermath of one condition, there's another. When the biggest criminal to ever run for public office stands in front of a rally and says out of his mouth in the aftermath of another murder at the hands of the police that his goal is to give police officers federal immunity to, quote, do their jobs, as if their jobs have not been to kill us and silence us for centuries. My soul is in terror. How can we give immunity to those called to defend and preserve and protect the law and protect the people, and then tell them they don't have to live under the law they are called to enforce? My soul is in terror. We've gathered today to mourn because there's a lot to mourn. We mourn the reality that the generational trauma that we've endured as a people that has created emotional and mental challenge is the very thing that's causing us to be criminalized and murdered when we call on you for help. We're mourning today. We're mourning the life of another sister. We're mourning these yet to be United States of America. We're mourning the reality of policing in our nation. We're mourning the reality of politics in our nation. We're mourning the reality of our existence being minimized in our nation. We're mourning today because mourning is holy. We're mourning today because God mourns. But I'm not just here to talk about mourning. I'm also here to serve notice to the reality that after we mourn, we will mobilize.
Come on now.
And we're not mobilizing on our own. We're mobilizing not just with the aid of all those standing here and all those gathering all across the country. No, we're mobilizing with the help of heaven because we serve a God who stands on the side of the oppressed. We're mobilizing with the God who cares about justice. We're mobilizing with Jesus, our great liberator who came to set the captives free. We're mobilizing because this is not just soul work, it is spiritual work, and heaven is on our side. And I conclude these brief remarks by saying to any principality that dare stand against us, to any leader of spiritual wickedness in high places, to anybody who has a problem with our pursuit of justice, in the words of our ancestor, in the words of our sister, we rebuke you in the name of Jesus.
All right, Bishop.
Power to the people! Hey, real quick, I was supposed to have been telling y'all this like 3 speakers ago. There's some water over here with some nice ice. I don't want nobody to have pass out, you know, because you can't protest them and then ask them to help you. No, I'm just playing. Don't dare say that. But look, no, go ahead and get y'all some water, man. Please hydrate. Make sure the babies are hydrated and everything. If you like me, you don't need no water because you just built like that, all right? Turn up. So, real quick, I want to thank all of our speakers and different people who have came out. I want to bring up another brother, and then I'll bring my sister up. This brother is one of the ones that connected us to this National Mourning Day with Timmy Mallory and Until Freedom. Of course, you guys have known him. He has represented cases and families all across this country, but most importantly here locally. Of course, I met him in 2016, and yet at the end of the day has been traveling across this country, being the people's attorney, representing families from all different cases of injustice. And he's our very own attorney, Lee Merritt.
In Jesus' name. In Jesus' name. Stretch your hands out to the Dallas Police Department if you don't mind. I'm not a pastor today over there, but they said it was all right. Reach out your hands and say, I rebuke you.
I rebuke you.
In Jesus' name.
In Jesus' name.
Now the question is, good afternoon. My name is Lee Merritt. I'm a civil rights attorney. I'm a father. I live over up in Frisco. You all seen way too much of me. I should not be as popular as I am. It embarrasses me. People stop me in the streets and say, hey man, I know you from TV. Why? Because of Oakland Job. Why? Because of Tatiana Jefferson. Why? Because, hey look, I'm a pretty good basketball player. Y'all should know me because of my crossover. But instead, this is what we on. If you all, what I'd like to do, if my brother, if you don't mind bringing me over a bottle of water, thank you. It's an international tradition, a West African tradition. Thank you, sister. It's not for me, it's called a libation. Most of you are familiar with it. I'm gonna say a couple of names. And the question is honestly stupid. Why are we here today when it's happening in Springfield, Illinois? So what's our address? 1400 Oakland Boulevard. That means we belong here. That means this problem, although it happened in Springfield, it happened right up the street to Tatiana Jefferson. Say her name. One more time. I say it first and you all repeat after me. Tatiana Jefferson. Ashe. Bonjour. Ashe. Kev, if you don't mind coming up here with me for a second. Kevin Tarver, don't say that name. Say the name of his son, who was a student at UNC, a double major. He was supposed to become the police chief of Denton, and instead he was shot at his apartment. His name is Darius Tarver. Say his name. Darius Tarver. I'm exhausted. My pastor, Freddie Haynes, stopped and he says, this must get frustrating for you. I said, it's beyond that. It's honestly embarrassing because how do I face my community? How do I look you all in the eyes? I mean, we've been talking for 10 years. How do I look you in the eyes and say the same shit? It's gonna be all right. We just gotta stand, we just gotta fight. Listen, I don't mean to undermine you all. Your presence here is important. And I'm sorry about the crazy looking back. I do promote violence, but that's not what this is about. This is my friend, Ernest Walker, who's an organizer and a protester. This is his back. He passed away this year. Say his name. Ernest Walker. His name is Ernest Walker. Say his name. Ernest Walker. I tell one story, and I'm going to pass it on to my brother Kevin in a second. But I tell one story about a Buddhist monk, June 12, 1963. He went to a private intersection in Saigon, Vietnam. The Buddhists were being tortured by their government. Their lands were being taken, the women were being raped, they were being murdered in the streets. And Buddhists who are not particularly known for protests. They don't bang drums, they don't shout, they don't march, they don't retaliate. He went on a fast. 1 day fast, week fast, 30-day fast. Nothing changed. So what did he do? He took a vow of